Every week it's another excuse. We had a massive landslide victory. Hacking is very interesting. They have no idea if it's Russia or China or somebody. It could be somebody sitting in a bed someplace.
Well, Trump's statement refers to a confidential CIA report on Russia's role in the election, which was reported on by the Washington Post. The outlet adds that Moscow's goal was not just to undermine the American electoral system, but, quote, to favor one candidate over the other for political interests. The CIA assessment was shared in a behind-closed-doors intelligence briefing and claimed it had identified individuals linked to the Russian government who gave hacked Democratic emails to WikiLeaks, though the intelligence agency has yet to provide any evidence. RT's Ilya Petrenko has more on the story.
Have you heard? December 19th is the new National Day of No Return in America. That's when the mysterious people who make the U.S. election system the most complicated in the world are going to vote. The electors. That means the Trump haters only have about a week to do something about it.
Russia definitely had involvement in the American election.
Russia leaked Democratic Party emails to boost Donald Trump's chances of winning the presidential election race.
Russia intervened to help tip the U.S. election in favor of Donald Trump.
The CIA claims Moscow was trying to get Donald Trump elected.
Yes. Read the Washington Post this past weekend. Some unnamed officials who spoke on condition of anonymity told them the CIA shared its secret assessment with key senators in a closed-door briefing. Russia intervened in the 2016 election to help Donald Trump win.
The United States is not a banana republic. It's a great power. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you really think Russia can influence anything? Claims of Russian interference in the U.S. presidential election campaign are a mythical problem and hysteria.
Well, if all of this is such a bombshell, perhaps we can now get something concrete in the Washington Post. Nope. So Trump and co. barked back. These are the same people that said Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction.
Are you serious?
But hang on, that day of no return is coming.
Ask for a full investigation of the election tampering by Russia. Ask for an injunction delaying the Electoral College vote until the investigation based on the CIA intelligence is complete. Make sure you call your senator and rep too. People will take your calls seriously.
Right after the election, what did you see? You saw all of these bratty snowflakes taken to the street trying to overturn the American electoral process, a legitimate election. It's pathetic. Their moms hug them too much. And now when they get a little bit of adversity, something not going according to their plan, they freak out and take to the streets. And now you have this Russian hacking scandal. It really smells partisan to me. It really smells like this is another way where the Democrats are simply trying to undermine the electoral election process of the United States.
Can they do it? Make the college voters switch to Clinton? There are millions of Americans signing a petition, and some folks at the Huffington Post dug back to 1995 when a guy won a seat at the Pennsylvania State Senate but got replaced by his opponent because of fraud after a court ruling. Get it? There's your precedent.
Well, Craig Murray, a former British diplomat, has slammed the latest CIA accusation as a fabrication. And as a friend of WikiLeaks co-founder Julian Assange, he claims he knows the source of the email leak, and it wasn't Russia.
An absolutely disgraceful suggestion. But of course it's not isolated. It's part of this absolute storm of nonsense and disinformation that's been put out ever since Donald Trump's victory about Russian interference in the election. And it's part of this insistence that people ought not be allowed to get information from anywhere except the approved mainstream media like the Washington Post. And given that the Washington Post was totally biased during the election campaign, for them to say that nobody else should be allowed to be biased, I mean, whether the allegation of bias is true or not, I don't know. The idea is very much to stop alternative voices who aren't part of the mainstream establishment, political elite establishment consensus from being heard. And that's part of the reaction to Trump's victory, to the EU referendum result in the UK, where the elite are terrified that they've lost control and people aren't doing what they've told them.